Peace. Infinite waters diving deep once again. We are out here in nature. We got the birds singing everywhere. Someone wrote to me saying that they're not sure whether they should let someone go when they actually feel there could be more. How to decide to let someone go when you know there's more. We got a lot to dive into. Let's just breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Much love to you beautiful deep divers out there. Is that you today? Confronted with that big choice, that decision you got to make. Should I let someone go? I don't need them. Bye. When you know there's more, but there could be more. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? Okay, let me share with you what's helped me along my journey. I've been in that situation, and I'm going to share with you some secrets I learned. One of the hardest decisions you will ever have to make is choosing whether or not to let someone go or stay because you know there's more. A lot of us on the planet, we live in the ego mind. And I was for a long time until I realized that you never want to make a decision when you're in the ego, or when you're angry, or when you are feeling overwhelmed. Clarity comes in the heart space. Slow motion this side. This is sexology. Water, fire, hot, cold, yin, yang. Let's start with this. You got to look at the overall value level they bring to you. What have they ever brought to you that is of value? Okay? Because once you are in your ego mind, you will say, no, I don't need this person. They don't bring me anything. But in the heart space, you can actually have more clarity to say, have they bought me anything of value? You don't have to like a person to respect someone. But a lot of us, we have a very hard exterior emanating from our ego mind, which says that I am going to overlook everything about this person because of one experience, one moment, forgetting all the value they have brought you. So, if you know in your heart space, this person, this someone has brought you some value, there's more. If not, there probably isn't more. You see, in our society, a lot of us, we are living a very fast-paced lifestyle. That means the majority of our lives are about absolutes. I either like this person or I don't. They are either in my life or they're not. And that is the rigid ego mind. You see, the water relationship and the water mindset is about flexibility. Time and time again, we see how people don't talk to each other for years, then say, oh my gosh, I really regret it because I was just so in my ego and we were just arguing over a peanut. Oh my gosh, right? But the ego will always separate you. Only the heart can bring you together. Slow motion this side. So, meditate on the overall value. 7-Day Vegan Challenge, by the way, shout out to everyone doing it. And I always have realized along my journey, to decide to let go of someone when you know there's more, ask yourself, what was the food chemistry like? People really reveal themselves over a meal. Epic meal time. Like, what was that like? How were your conversations over a meal? Sometimes we feel really awkward eating with someone. That says a lot. There's more when you just feel so much euphoria, so elated, so joyful over a beautiful brown rice, avocado salad, and you're just talking non-stop. There's more, right? But if there is zero chemistry over food, you gotta put a question mark, because food brings people together. I look at it like this. When you are making this decision, this choice, you have to ask yourself this. Was I only with them for one reason? Or were they only with me for one reason? You see, many times we can talk of relationships, friendships, interactions, even meeting strangers. And we're only with them for one reason. Sometimes they got a nice backside, a nice booty. Sometimes they got a lot of money. Sometimes they're rich. Or sometimes we can use them to get somewhere else. Or sometimes we actually, genuinely like them and genuinely care. Okay? But if someone is just with you for one reason, sometimes it's just because of your backside, right? Then that's a surface, shallow relationship, a surface connection. It can't go any further. It can't go any further than that. But if there is a deeper connection, where it's not just about this physical body, this shell, which is just the illusion, to be honest, right? There is something more. You are attracted to that person's energy. Then there's more. Many times, we don't really realize that we go through our whole life denying how we feel, denying our emotions. And that's why, once again, people separate. And then when they finally come back together, they're like, why did we do that? Because of the ego. I'm helping you not make that mistake. Every single day, I'm in peace. Why? Because I realize you got to honor your emotions. The emotion means energy in motion. Are you thinking about this someone? Like, you go to bed and you're thinking about them, but then you're like, actually, I don't like them. Well, wait a minute. What are your emotions telling you right now? That I actually do care. But wait, Ralph, I can't admit that. If you are constantly thinking about someone, there's more. We forget the people when the resonance isn't there. But we never forget people. We never forget people. We never forget people when the resonance is strong. And that can sometimes come in our dream state, right? We have a dream of them. There's more. It's what I call unfinished business. Now, when you can learn, this is what I had to learn the hard way, helping you out here. Don't be afraid to love someone because you are afraid of being hurt. Let me repeat that. Don't be afraid to love someone because you are afraid of being hurt. That's why a lot of people let people go and then keep overthinking, because they actually love this person, They're just afraid of being hurt. They're insecure, and that's fine. So many of us are insecure. We've all been insecure, but don't let your ego get in the way of your heart space. Don't let your ego get in the way of your heart space. Now, the frequency is lowering. That's when you know it's time to let that someone go. If your frequency decreases around them, if your health decreases around them, if they only bring you chaos, right? If they've never bought you anything of substance, then it's time for bye-bye. But you have to develop a lot of clarity to say, okay, I don't want to just make a decision when I'm really emotional and getting so angry right now. You want to make it in a very calm state to decide whether or not to let someone go when you know there's more. Many times we are around certain people and instantly our vibration increases. That's a keeper. Finders keepers, losers weepers, right? That's a keeper. You want to hold on to that one. I talk of the emotional expansion range. Now, this is where we are going to dive deep. You're going to start to realize that there are people who we're cool with, we get on with, but we can't really be ourselves, right? And we're like, I never have an argument with them, Ralph. Yeah, that's because your emotional expansion range with them is very short. There are people who argue a lot, but they have a very wide emotional expansion range, meaning there's more because they have more depth to them. It's easy to say, hi, how are you, to someone for 9 years because you've never really been through anything, right? People who have been through a lot will always have a wider emotional expansion range, meaning sometimes they might say stuff to each other they don't mean. Sometimes they might be in the ego. It doesn't mean you just have to let go of that person. There still could be more, right? Because your emotional expansion range is showing you, it's an indicator that you actually care about this person because you have deeper feelings for this person. Okay, so you have to have a lot of clarity to say, okay, am I just in my feelings right now? Right? Yeah, this person really works me up, but there's more because I can really express a whole range of emotions with this person. I can actually be myself. I can actually tell them how annoyed I am, how pissed off I am, and how much I love them at the end of the day, right? It happens. Relationships are like a house, right? If a light bulb goes off, you don't buy a new house, you just replace the light bulb. Buy a new one. You fix it. You don't throw everything out. The baby out with the bathwater, right? Goodness gracious, right? So there's also the expression range. And this is, once again, where you have to have a lot of clarity in the heart space. Can you really talk to this person about anything? Could you do that once upon a time? Then there's more. You see, many times we might be with someone and they're great and they're cool, but we really can't spill the beans. We can't allow ourselves to become vulnerable. If you allowed yourself to become vulnerable with someone, if you shared, then there was a realness level there. There's more. It doesn't mean both of you are going to get married, not at all. But there is a deep appreciation both of you have or had. That's why you allowed each other to become vulnerable with each other, right? There are people who we just can't be vulnerable with. Even though we're cool with them, we don't want to do that. But there are people who literally open us up, right? There's more. If someone has opened you up, there is more. Now, it swings and roundabouts because a lot of us, we aren't in our heart space throughout the day. Okay, we go to work, we get shouted at and things happen and everything sometimes falls on our head, including apples and stuff like that. And then we take it out on someone else. That's why you need clarity. You need meditation to really say, okay, I can really express myself with this person. If you are in a situation where you can't, you're like really closed all the time, you have a filter, you have to think a lot before what you want to say, then it could be that you need to let this person go. You got to see the expression level. You also got to realize this, that many times you got to be mature about it. I'm still friends with high school girlfriends, right? When I was 16 years old, we're still cool. Because as you mature, as you evolve, you realize the bigger picture. Life is short. You can still be friends with someone even if it didn't work out, if you both were in your heart space to begin with, if you can both move out of the way of your massive egos and say, actually, there is still some value here, some substance here. There is still something more. We can both grow and help each other. It doesn't mean we have to get married, right? How many of you are still friends with your exes? How many of you? Put your hand up right now. Fantastic, right? How many of you say, I'm never going to talk to this person again, but you're always thinking about them, right? A few out there. Good gosh, right? Ego, separation, heart space, unity. Maturity is also when someone hurts you. Okay, sometimes the people we hang around could even hurt us, right? But you are still able to see things from their perspective. You are now having the bird's eye view and say, okay, I get it. Maybe this person is young. Maybe this person hasn't really had the same experiences I've had, but I get it. No one's perfect. Okay, so a lot of the times it's on us to say, okay, I'm deciding, should I let this person go or should I stay a bit longer? Because I know there's more. When you have the bigger picture, the clarity will come and say, okay, I get it. I know there's more. It's just that I know what this person is going through. And that's okay too. When you realize that if you are around someone in any period of your life, right? If you are around someone in any period of your life that takes you to places you've never been before, there's more. To decide to let go of someone when you know there's more, just ask yourself that question. Have they taken me to places where I've never been before? No, they haven't, Ralph. Then it's time to let that person go. But if they have and you know it, but you're denying it, you are suppressing your emotions or even repressing them, acting like you don't even know what happened, right? You got to get real with yourself and say, actually, this person did take me to places I've never been before. There's more. You've got to find out what that more is. And you can only do that when you both come back into the heart space and become mature about the situations, but more so learn how to honor your feelings. And then just say, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? We are out here in nature. Much love to all the beautiful deep divers. Have a beautiful day. Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Infinite waters. Dive deep once again. Stay well. Stay healthy. Peace. You.